When it comes to hair care, emotions speak way louder than science. But I have a question for you. Are you accountable enough to admit when you were wrong? Let's talk about it.
When was the last time you were wrong? And she wanted to know how willingly would I give up thinking I was right. If you bring evidence to me,
right,
that is compelling, either better evidence or more evidence, or ideally both.
Okay.
Then I'll say, hey, I haven't thought about it that way. Thank you. I will be thankful to the person for calling that to my attention. Says a scientist, I don't want to say I delight in being wrong. I delight in being corrected.
Ooh.
That's a
big difference.
Yeah.
Yes. Correction always involves advancement and learning.
Yes.
So let's get this conversation started, because if I'm wrong, you wouldn't need 100 different reasons why I'm wrong. You would just need one. So let's unpack this, because we've been conditioned to flinch at the smell of relaxers, but think absolutely nothing of sugar heavy diets, tight protective styles, or weekly lace wig installs, all of which cause damage that's just as real and just as permanent. The truth is, relaxers, flat irons aren't the only culprits behind thinning edges, inflamed scalps, and hair loss. Studies show how the common lifestyle habits like that, things like eating processed foods, skipping nutrients, or over manipulating your hair, it all contributes to traction alopecia, folliculitis, oxidative stress, and chronic inflammation of the scalp. So, let's be honest, we judge the visible, the sizzling flat iron, the relaxer jar, the silk press, but we ignore the internal and invisible. The information is all here for you, and the inflammation caused by improper diet, the tension from your tight braids, and the hormonal swings triggered by your everyday habits, these are the things that we really need to focus on, not relaxers and flat irons and combs and brushes and how bad they are. It's time to stop cherry picking what counts as damage, and let's go ahead and get back into black hair care and the smart way. And let's focus on the science, looking at the full picture, not just one small portion. So this woman that is here right now in my chair, this is someone who had came in, and this was her first time sitting in my chair, and her regular routine was wearing 2-strand twists. She either wore 2-strand twists, she did twist outs, or she did wash and goes. And when she got there, that's how her hair was. It was really, really easy to see. But social media is so easy to manipulate, you guys. Whether it's religion, whether it's hair, it doesn't matter what it is. This isn't about hair. It is about the mind of the black woman and why it's so easily manipulated. We're going to stop it now. This is what we break generational curses. It's not just hair. Let's look in another perspective, the rapture.
Hi, Jesus. You're so beautiful. Jesus, when you coming back? We need you. I need you.
The 23rd and the 24th of the Feast of Trumpets in September 2025, I will come to take my church.
When I heard the trumpets and God getting his people, I immediately knew in my spirit that it was coming. And as soon as I heard those trumpets in my spirit, I said, oh no.
That 2025 represents the start of the Great Tribulation period. And it'll be 3.5 years after that when Apothecary arrives, which I believe is going to strike the earth in fulfillment of Revelation chapter 8.
You're so tell people to get their life together. And they need to pray. And all the judging, you can go to hell for judging people, even if it's in your mind.
It's something that you can't explain. There's nothing that you can't explain because it's not of this world.
I just have such an urgency as we go into September. Such an urgency to pray, an urgency. Something major is about to take place for us.
I just asked a rhetorical question. Lord, I said, when are you coming for us? He didn't tell me a day and he didn't tell me an hour. He told me a season. You'll be 66 years old. But when he said that, my spirit began to tremble with fear, joy, ecstasy. I'm 66 as of May 20th this year. But all my heart.
Right now, Jesus and everyone in heaven, they're preparing a place for you. So, I counsel you to prepare yourself for the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. So depending on who you are, I'm gonna have to explain a few things. So the rapture is a term that has been coined. You won't actually find that word in the Bible. What you will find is the word harpazo, which is the Greek word for being caught up. There's a lot of arguments online as to is the rapture biblical or not. For me, as someone who never grew up hearing of the second coming of Jesus, tribulation, had no idea. This was revealed to me here on the countryside of Sweden. Is the harpazo, aka rapture, aka Exodus, happening next month? If you've been on the Christian internets, you would have heard of this gentleman, Joshua.
God wants to rescue the Christians out of the world before what is coming comes.
Now, I'm going to rewind a bit. Was it 4 years ago when I became a new mother? That's when I started to read the Bible again. I was literally struggling with breastfeeding, struggling with being an immigrant, struggling with the culture shock of living amongst Swedes, of living from the city to the country. It was my identity. It was just like, it fell completely apart. I had nothing else in your Bible. Now, I'm a little different from the school of rapture talks because as much as I want to meet Jesus and I don't want any of these children to go through the literal hell on earth that's about to break loose, I don't want my family and friends to go through this. And so I don't make this video lightly. Actually, the Holy Spirit was like, you better. Because I was like, no, the husband is a head, which he is. But he's like, I am your Lord. And I've been putting off doing this video. And so that's why I turned away from looking at these times and stuff, because I was like, I'm done with these timelines. But I asked the Holy Spirit to tell me when he was going to come. And lo and behold, this guy Joshua, he was on Vlad's channel, God's Voice Daily. And I don't follow Vlad like that. It's just like some of these videos come up here and there, and I listen to it. I was gardening actually while listening to this testimony from Josh. And I think before that testimony, I heard another testimony of a guy, I believe he's American, and his testimony said he had an encounter with Jesus, and he was not going to see his 66th birthday. His birthday was on May 20th, the same birthday as mine. And all he was told by Jesus was he's not going to see his birthday, 2026. And he shared that he thinks that the rapture is going to happen at the Feast of Trumpets. It was just a feeling, but he's like, I don't know. I just know I won't see my birthday, which he will turn 67. That was my confirmation. The age of Israel, and God is the God of Israel. He's not the God of Sweden. He's not the God of the United States. He's the God of the whole earth, but more specifically, he is the God of Israel in Bible. Okay. Oh my god, I don't know. Okay, let me just turn this phone off. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Maya. It's like y'all knew, and I didn't. Okay, so I think this is an appropriate video for me to do as like the poster child for all those who are ashamed for being deceived, myself included. Not only am I like, oh Maya, really? You were deceived and you did it publicly, girl? Not only that, like, yeah, it's that. It's like I was deceived, that's one, because I'm so on fire for God. I love him so much. And so I feel like I let him down. But I know that Jesus is perfect. And what I will say is he's the God who examines our hearts and our minds. And so all things work together for good to them that love Jesus. And I know that even before this video, I'm just like, man, Lord, I know I'm being humbled. I'm in a season of being humbled. And I low-key want the season to stop, but I know every time I get out of whatever tribulation I'm in, because I'm in so much tribulation, this event aside, like I've been going through it. I have a YouTube channel with my husband, we have a family channel, and I share a bit about it. And I don't want your pity. I think what I really want is prayers, and understanding. So let me just share the context that I'm going through. I am an immigrant living in isolation, in extreme culture shock, and going through, that's just one set, going through all the things that, like, I'm losing my home, I lost my license, I couldn't drive for 6 months, what else? My citizenship is on the line here, and my entire life so far is here. I have a daughter, I have a husband, all the things. Now, I feel that I was like, man, in my moments of weakness, and my husband, he works weddings over the summer, and he was so busy this summer, so he was gone every weekend, and because I didn't have a license, I couldn't go to church, and so I didn't have the covering of my husband and the church, and I'm able to see this in retrospect. And so I feel like in my moments of weakness, when I wasn't even on social media, like for months, I was just like post and go, not like being influenced by all these things. And if I was, I would pray on it. And in my moments of weakness, I saw a few videos, and those videos deceived me. I was completely and utterly deceived. But I have an amazing husband. And so he was like, as most people do, when someone is going through it, it's easy to be afraid of what they're going through instead of trying to help. So what I've seen online is like, the name calling and stuff like that. And for people in my position, we need help. We need help. And so when I posted the video, I posted that like September 2nd or something. Right away the comments, I was like, it was so not good. I don't know why I still went ahead and posted it, but the feelings around it wasn't good. But for me, I share that video and I'm like thinking just to leave it. Just leave it up there, just so it's there, not be ashamed. But some of the comments were very sweet and kind, and people were like, if Maya's mental health is on the line, we should pray for her.
This has absolutely nothing to do with religion, Jesus, spirituality. Please don't have a church service in my comments. Has nothing to do with that. What I want you to pay attention to in that video is the ability for people who have a lot of time on their hands, right? Their mind is roaming and they're looking and searching for something. They find those things here on YouTube and they'll see something in their boredom, right? In the midst of them trying to find themselves, them growing their channel, their business, whatever the case may be, right? And when they find that thing, they're like, oh my God, yes, this touches on my emotions. Not, oh yeah, this is what I've been studying my whole life. Oh yes, this is what I have the research and the real proof. No, it's whatever feels best. You get on YouTube and you express yourself. You make videos about whatever you want to make videos about. And see, the issue is that has taken precedent over the real scientific facts. It's taken precedent over research, over really sitting down and thinking critically, whether you are Christian or not. I am not. I used to be, but once you know things, you just can't unknow them. Once you see things, you can't unsee them. But I was there before, so I will say nothing negative about the rapture or the people who believe in it, because I, at one point in my life, was one of those people, right? So I have nothing negative to say. I'm not even going there. But the people who believed in all of the people who were like, oh yes, he's coming back on this day at this time, these were people who let their emotion lead them. Because let's just stick with Christianity. If you are really, like, if that's really your thing, even though the rapture and all of that stuff, it really isn't in the Bible for real, but if you really did your research, you would see that the things that they use to talk about the rapture, it doesn't say that. It doesn't. But people don't do their research. This isn't about Christianity or spirituality. It is about the human mind, because these patterns are reciprocated in every form of life, right? Whether it's the food that you eat, right? Like BBLs. There were a group of people saying, don't do BBLs because after a certain amount of time, it's going to look this way. And time after time, fad after fad, hack after hack, different world ending scenario after world ending scenario, all of these things come up. But it's all for the same reason. It's because we've put the emotions above the science. So let's get back to it, right? Because there was a time where the science came first. So let's get back to it. Number one, what are the things that are really getting to you guys? What are the science-based habits that can be just as harmful or worse than the relaxers and the flat irons? So number one is the most common one that we talk about, right? Tight hairstyles, weaves, wigs, braids. They all lead to traction alopecia and other forms of scalp damage. So what is it? Traction alopecia is a hair loss caused by prolonged tension on the hair follicle from tight braids, ponytails, wigs with adhesives, and extensions. And these things are all combined with chemicals or other stressors, right? And the evidence is, one article that I'll leave listed in the description box below in my blog article, the article notes that up to 1/3 of women of African descent wearing traumatic hairstyle practices are affected by traction alopecia in some form, right? And what are the mechanics of this, right? Repetitive pulling leads to inflammation, follicular damage, thinning, and eventually, if untreated, scarring that is irreversible. All things cannot be undone. It also is worsened by relaxers. Absolutely. Relaxed hair is more fragile, making it more susceptible to breakage under tension. So this is a thing that I see a lot when women leave Team Natural. The first thing they do is, oh, I'm gonna get a relaxer. Girl, you don't need to get a relaxer. You need to learn your hair, because the truth of the matter is women did not go natural to learn their hair. Women went natural because they hated their hair, they hated themselves and the way that they look, and you thought that Team Natural would make it easier, but it's actually more work. So the takeaway is, even if you never use heat relaxers, if you wearing different styles that pull on your scalp constantly, it can be just as damaging, especially without breaks. And most people that wear braids and things like that, you guys think that you're never supposed to take breaks. Next up is going to be poor diet and inflammatory foods. This leads to damage and hair loss of the scalp. And why is that? It's because diet and inflammation. Your diet and your inflammation that happens in your body are really linked, because chronic consumption of processed foods, refined sugars, high glycemic carbs, trans fats, and ultra processed food tend to drive systemic inflammation and oxidative stress within the body. It's a fact. Hair follicles are alive. Hair follicles are very sensitive to oxidative stress and inflammation. These conditions can disrupt the hair growth cycle, damage follicular cells, and shift the hair into its shedding phase. Now, there are very specific findings, and I'm going to leave these articles in the description box below. But one study, it shows that nutrition links to higher dietary inflammation to greater risk of androgenetic alopecia, which is a pattern of hair loss. And androgenetic alopecia is where your body's immune system attacks your hair's follicle. And you want to know why it would do that? Well, it would be because your body is full of toxins. And like we talked about in the lecture with me in AQBS, we talked about the fact that your skin releases toxins that you ingest into the body. So if your follicle is immune privileged, right? Meaning that the hair follicle is immune to, it's invisible to your immune system, right? But if you are ingesting all of these inflammatory foods, your body is full of toxins that it's releasing where? Through your skin. It also releases things through your scalp. So that once immune privilege part of the hair follicle is no longer immune privilege. Why? All of the gunk that you've been putting in the body is being released through the hair follicle and other places on the scalp. So what happens? The scalp is inflamed. You start to get bald spots. You start to get different forms of inflammation. Your scalp becomes sensitive to touch, redness, dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, folliculitis. A lot of these things happen internally. These are things that you have to know. Medical News Today remarks that excessive consumption of simple carbohydrates, refined sugars, grains may indirectly worsen hair shedding via inflammation. It's been found. And one analyst found that high consumption of sugary drinks correlated with increased hair loss risk in men. Though context matters, the links are there. So the takeaways are this. What you eat does show up in your hair health. You can't expect to abuse your scalp and skin while feeding your body inflammatory junk and expect everything to be fine. And these are the things we don't think about. You know why? The cosmetology field has been overran by emotion over facts. We focused on emotion over science. Nobody's thinking about the science of their scalp when they put a bunch of hair products in their hair. You're not thinking about the science of your scalp or your skin when you layer all of these oils and butters on the scalp. You know why? It's because they told you that cosmetology didn't matter, the science didn't matter. And who you've been following are YouTubers that know nothing about the science of hair, but they're focused on slip. So you threw away the science and you're focused on that emotional feeling that you get when you put that product in your hair and it's slippery. You're like, oh, yes, girl, yes, right? So you get caught up in that and you forget about the basics that you learned when you were a little girl. Because if your mama knew what she was doing, right? When you got your hair done, you weren't allowed to touch your hair. You weren't combing and finger detangling and finger twirling. You weren't doing any of those things. You kept it very basic, very simple, very simplistic. And most women find that is when they got out in the world in their own heads is when their hair started to deteriorate. And some women have just decided since forever, maybe generationally, your family decided that professional cosmetologists and trichologists don't know nothing. I can do this better myself. Forget the science. The science of the human body doesn't matter. I'm going to do this myself. And then came people who did hair with no license, braiders, no license. The majority of the people that you guys go to have no training. It's a fact. Make sure you check the video link in the description box below. I did a whole little mini documentary on it. Listen.
Hairstyles back in the day was coveted. It was like for you to be the top stylist, like, you know, you drove a nice car, you looked nice, you had the best clients. There's still a few of us of that era, but this new era, these people look crazy coming to work. The nuance of being a hairstylist is not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know, that the luxury of being a hairstylist is not there anymore. And I think that's the part that need to come back to the industry, is just the luxury part of
Correct.
being proud of being a cosmetologist, being proud of going to get your license. Like, we wouldn't dare back in the day work without no license. You know, and if we did, we were working towards getting our license while we were. You know, now they like, license what? Psh, we don't need that.
What's
There's
that?
like, what's that? Like, what, license? Like, no.
They ain't gonna catch me.
Right. You know, but no, back then we wouldn't dare. Like, please, we like people that were working with, you ain't got no license? Golly, how dare you? You know,
Lord, gonna come snatch you up.
Yeah, like, don't come talking to me. Like, you can come talking to me. You ain't got no license. What are you talking about? You know, but that bravado of it all is not there. Being a hairstylist back in the day.
But the thing is, now it's in reverse, because now if you say you're a licensed cosmetologist, they're like, a licensed cosmetologist, they just see you don't know. I ain't going to them. And that's because the majority of you can't tell the difference between a real licensed cosmetologist or trichologist and one of the girls just playing in hair. And now today, most of the YouTubers that told you not to listen to the science are now cosmetologists listening to the science, but they're not accountable. They're not saying, hey, I was wrong, I messed up. And that's why everybody's confused. Everybody's still running up behind people like me, like, oh, she's making it up, because the people who started it, they never came back and were accountable and said, you know what, I didn't know what I was talking about. Maybe I shouldn't have put that type of content out. Maybe I should make better choices. Hey guys, don't follow that. I was wrong, right? So instead of focusing on the science of hair, everybody went to products or supplements. We get the over supplementation or excess nutrients that everybody has, like with your Nutrafol. People are like, oh, take Nutrafol. I hate that so much, because without you going in to see your healthcare professional and you getting your blood work done and your urine samples done, you don't know what things you're deficient of. So why would you just randomly start taking supplements if you don't know what your body's lacking? Because the risk of too much is a thing. Some nutrients in excess are linked with hair loss rather than benefit. For example, over supplementation of vitamin A, vitamin E, and selenium have documented links in hair shedding in individuals without deficiencies. Why does this matter? Many women assume that more is better, loading up on hair supplements. No. it's unbalanced. Giving megadose regimens can backfire on your hair, but most people don't know this because you think that all of those things are important and they're not. And this is why in the Apothecary I focus on gut health, because the gut health and nutrient absorption is so important. Poor gut health or different things like that can lead to so many different things going wrong within your body, especially hair growth. Seeing that your hair growth cells develop and divide within your gut. Hormonal imbalance like diet, your stress, and different disruptions within your hormones and the food and the environment can swing your hormone levels, androgens, and cortisol, which often manifests in hair thinning or shedding. The majority of the issues that you guys are dealing with within your body are because of the things that you're putting within your body, but you only tackle these things with different hairstyles or with different oils and butters, and this is why you're constantly going through the same thing. These things get way less judgment than relaxer and heat. Why? It's because they're invisible. You can't see someone's diet or gut health, so it's easier to shame external things like relaxers or flat irons. And that's just what it is. They're normalized. We accept sugar, processed snacks, textiles as part of beauty or lifestyle or culture, even though they have so much damage over the entire community. There's a less immediate burn, right? A relaxer or a flat iron can cause visible burn or breakage that triggers fear and judgment. And your diet or different things like traction, it builds up damage over time and it makes it really subtle. And because it's happening slowly over time, you're under the impression that it's not a big deal, where in reality it is. You're just not able to see it. That's why Team Natural went on for 20 years. And now, year 20, all of the girls who started it, they're all gone. They haven't made videos in years. Why? Because hair weathering that I told y'all about years ago, it set in for them. And it's going to keep setting in for them round after round after round. I want you guys to keep paying attention, right? We're going to talk about a lot of different things here on my channel, but I want you to keep paying attention. Because as a scientist, I'm in it for the long haul. I understand that things take time to manifest. And this is a place that I want us to all get in. The woman that you're watching right now used to be Team Natural. This was the day that she was coming in to leave those things behind her. And this is what I did for over a decade. So when I say twist outs and the things are not what you should do, when I speak against Team Natural stuff, I do it because I'm the one that will rescue everybody whenever they decided they wanted to start listening, and nothing's changed. I just do it over the internet now. This comment says, okay, Senior, forgive me, girl. I've been watching your videos for a while now, and they really opened up my eyes about natural hair care, especially the damage that constant wash and goes can cause. Now, I'll admit, I only semi-listened when it came to oils. I thought if the product mimics sebum and it's just a little oil, what's the harm? So when I started battling extreme dandruff, I kept oiling my scalp out of pure embarrassment. Fast forward to getting microlocks. Before my install, I did a clarifying wash, no oil, no leave-in. The next day, my scalp was dry with visible flakes. I decided not to touch it and let my loctician work without adding product or oil. Afterward, I switched things up, just spraying my scalp with distilled water, 2 to 3 drops of tincture oil in a 6-ounce spray bottle. Please stop doing that. I love y'all so much, but stop doing that. Unless you're treating an infection or trying to kill something in your scalp, all you're doing is killing the good bacteria that you need. Stop doing that. You do not need to spray things on your scalp. Let go of the addiction of adding things to the scalp for no reason, because at this point it's an addiction. Here's the crazy part. It's not really crazy. It's science. After about a week and a half, my dandruff was barely noticeable. Now, 2.5 weeks in, my scalp feels healthy, my hair doesn't feel dry, and I've only been keeping up with my micro comb daily. Moral of the story, I had to let go of the embarrassment and stop suffocating my scalp with oil. Sometimes less really is more when it comes to healthy hair and locks. And the reason that I added this at the end is because of the scientists that clip that I added at the beginning. It's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about sitting down, looking at the science of the human body, matching it towards your patterns and the results that you currently have. And after you have that body of data in front of you, it is now up to you to make the decision on what works best. So make sure you head over to my free group. It is free 99. Girl, boy, have you feeling fine? And I'll have this PDF along with some other information over within the free group, so you can go in there, read over it, and I may put a little checklist in there just for you to get your mind right. Because at the end of the day, the majority of the reason why women are stuck in the place that they're in is because you refuse the accountability. You have chosen your emotions over science. You have chosen your feelings over facts, and facts can't do anything with your feelings. So let's talk in the comments. This is not a video where I'm talking at you, and don't be saying you feel like I'm talking at you. Girl, talk back in the comments, right? Let's have these conversations, because to put yourself in this box, right? You're the reason that you feel trapped. I'm black, so I can only wear my hair like this. I'm black, so I can't comb, I can't brush. I'm black, so I have to use oil, I have to do this. I'm black, so these are the diets that I have. It's about more than the things that you're doing to the hair. This is a holistic practice. These are things that you have to undo from the inside out. I'm talking down to the people that you surround yourself with, down to the people that you are linked with. Okay? So these are the things that I want us to talk about. We'll go a little deeper into this in part 2. So make sure you leave any questions or comments or concerns that you have in the description box below. And until next time, I love you. Let me know right now. Tell me in the comments, please. Are you going to pick facts or feelings? Are you going with science? Or are you going with emotion? Let me know. And I'm not judging you either way. Remember, every clip that I use in this video, the whole rapture thing, don't y'all be going online, oh, Cynthia talk about Christians. I do not care. Look at me. I do not care.